What's up, guys? Eric Bray, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Wednesday, November the 30th. Tried to shoot this yesterday. Actually, shot a really nice video yesterday, but didn't have any audio, so we're reshooting it today. A lot of things going on in the lake, a lot of bites that are really starting to turn on. We've got some definite changes going on, so we'll get into those here in a minute. Lake level, we are at 910.25, which is about 6 3/4 feet low. A lot better than being almost 8 feet low, so the lake has come up a little bit. Water temperature, it is starting to fall a little bit more consistently and stay down a little bit better. We are right around 55, 56 is what I'm seeing pretty much all over the lake. I know up the rivers, up the Kings, up the James, and up Long Creek, when you start to get into some a little bit more stained water, you see some 52s to 54s, but most of the lake is that 55, 56 range right now. But we've got a lot of bites changing, a lot of things changing, a lot of stuff going on. Best way to stay on top of it, of course, join Table Rock Fishing Intel, become a pro member, get those reports. We've put out a bunch of daily reports over the last week. We got the weekly reports. We've got a bunch of videos coming down the pipe. Best way to know what's going on, best way to have a clue before you get to the lake. Join Table Rock Fishing Intel and know before you go. But if you're coming down, you're going to fish the lower end of the lake. The lower end's actually fishing really good. Catching a lot of fish deep on the lower end. A lot of different ways. The new Jewel scope spin has been dynamite. Catching a lot of fish on it. Both fishing it on the bottom and targeting suspended fish around shad. Catching a lot of fish on the Jewel scuba spoon. Same deal, catching them on the bottom, suspended around shad, suspended around treetops. Catching them on a Rapala jigging wrap, same deal, on the bottom, around trees, in shad, catching them on a Damiki rig, and catching them on a drop shot. So if you like to fish deep, now's the time to go. This bite will probably last for another 4 to 6 weeks before things will kind of stabilize and these fish will kind of move and not be quite as consistent. It always seems to happen about mid-January. The water level or the water temperature kind of stagnates and stays the same for about 2 weeks, and then the fish kind of scatter and the shad kind of scatter. So you got about 4 to 6 weeks of this bite being really, really good, and then it's going to start to change and we'll start to transition in the spring. Other bites that are happening right now, if you get a windy day, which we've had plenty of windy days, you can catch them on a crankbait right now, rock crawler and wigglewort, rocky transition type banks where it goes from big rock to small rock to gravel. A lot of fish got caught doing that, and you can still catch them on a jig. If you like throwing a spider jig or like throwing the football jig, we're catching them on those gravel points and gravel runouts. There's a lot of smallmouth have moved up in the last 2 weeks with this water temperature dropping. Catching a lot of smallmouth up in 10 to 15 foot of water, even in the middle of the day, on main lake and secondary gravel and gravel rock mix points. Going to mid-lake, same bites are working. You've got a really good deep bite going on. If you can find the shad, you're going to get bit. Most of them have been main lake, kind of like it is out there or down there by the dam. Haven't really started to see many of them move into the creeks. If they're in the creeks, they're in the mouths of the creeks, but you can catch them on the scope spin, scuba spoon, jigging wrap, Damiki rig, drop shot rig, whatever you like to fish deep. You can certainly catch fish. They're going to be anywhere from 30 to about 50 foot deep is where I've been catching most of them. Some on the bottom, some suspended in trees, but there's definitely a good deep bite going on right now. Good crankbait bite if you've got wind, rock crawler, wigglewort, typical stuff, rocky transition banks, big rock to small rock. There's a good jig bite going on as well. Catching them either out on the main lake on gravel points and gravel and rock mix points, or we are catching a few still around boat docks. Mostly with a spider jig on docks on secondary points, and the jig fish really aren't that deep. They're 10 to 15 foot deep, and throughout the day. Get a windy day, they'll be even shallower. And then the glide bait bite, I'm not a big glide bait guy, but I have started throwing it a little bit more now that I've got a little bit of time to try to figure it out. And we've been catching several fish on a glide bait, getting a lot of follows on a glide bait, mostly on a smaller glide, like a 5 to a 7-inch glide. On steeper, ledgy type banks, especially if you got a little bit of cover. If you got a couple of cedar trees or a couple of hardwood trees, you can certainly get some follows and get some bites on a glide right now as well. Go up into the James, same deal up the James. There is a deep bite if you want to fish deep. Same sort of bite, same sort of baits are working. Scope spin, scuba spoon, drop shot, damiki, jigging wrap, all those will work up there as well. Jig bite is definitely stronger up there, either a spider jig or the peewee or heavy cover football jig on the main lake points, or a spider jig around docks. And then the crankbait bite, if you get a windy day up the James, hit a bunch of points, hit a bunch of transition rocky banks with a rock crawler or a wigglewort, and you'll certainly catch some fish doing that as well. White River continues to be just a fun place to fish. Anywhere from Baxter all the way up above it, Big M, there's a good bite going on. There's a really good deep bite going on with the scope spin, the scuba spoon, the drop shot rig, a jigging wrap, or a damiki rig. You just got to find the shad. You find the shad on the main lake, you'll catch them there. Find them in the creeks, you'll catch them there as well. It's just a matter of finding the shad. You can certainly find some fish doing that. Crankbait bite's been good up there as well. A little bit better in the river arms, like in the Kings River, or when you get above Big M, with a rock crawler or a wigglewort. And you can catch them on a jig as well. You can catch them on a heavy cover or a peewee football jig out on the main lake, or with a spider jig around docks or around channel swing banks. And again, the jig fish are not that deep, 10 to 15 foot deep. And then the glide bait bite. Glide bait bite has been really good up there. Steeper banks, steeper ledgy type banks. I can't stress that enough. The ledgy type banks have been best, especially if you got a little bit of isolated cover on it. You don't want a whole bunch of trees, but if you have 3 or 4 trees down a 50-yard stretch of ledge bank, that's where we've been catching the better fish on a glide, and still using that smaller glide. Either a 5 to a 7-inch glide really seems to be best. Bite has really turned on the last 2 weeks. It's really starting to get good. It's really a good time if you want to learn how to fish deep to come down here, or it's just a good time to go fishing. A lot of guys catching fish, doing a lot of different things right now. So if you want to fish, right now is really a great time to fish. We got decent weather coming up. But best way to know before you get to the lake, join Table Rock Fishing Intel and get all that information, the daily reports, the weekly reports, the videos, all that stuff that will help you catch more fish when you get to the lake. But if you're coming down, you want to hire a guide, maybe you want to learn how to fish deep, maybe you want to learn how to work your electronics a little bit better, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743, or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and you can book online or just shoot me an email. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching the videos, guys. Again, take a minute, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you haven't done so, but thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.